How to gain confidence when talking in Spanish with native speakers. This is something that hits close to home for me because I struggle with this a ton, probably more than you, but I got over that fear, so I'm gonna talk about how I did that. By the way, I'm sorry if there's like a big mess behind me. I've been living out of hotels basically here in Colombia. I'll have a vlog coming out soon kind of explaining why if you're interested or if you even care about that. But yeah, anyways, I remember when I felt really shy talking to native speakers in Spanish and just forming sentences in general. It was really tough. Let me just say that confidence is not something that's just natural. I mean, yeah, there's some people that are more extroverted than others, but 9 times out of 10, confidence is something that you earn and it's something that you have to gain with experiences. I know that might sound cheesy, but it's so true when it comes to Spanish. The only way you're gonna get over this is by talking with people, which you might say, that's the whole point, is that I'm scared to talk to people. How do I start talking to people and get over that fear? I'm gonna give you some exercises to do to help you with that. The first thing I can tell you is that you have to stop worrying about being so perfect. Think about this example. If I'm talking to a native speaker and I'm so worried about being perfect that I only say 5 things, that yeah, those 5 things might have sounded perfect, but it took me forever to come up with it, versus the guy that talks with the same person but says 100 things and all of those 100 things were wrong, but he still spoke and he got corrected for his mistakes and he learned from them. I mean, who do you really think learned more? So once I stopped caring about, I don't care if I mess up or not, to this day, I really don't care if I make a mistake. I mean, even if it might not happen a lot, I could care less if I do or not. No one cares more about your Spanish mistakes than you. Seriously, no one cares. And if someone might laugh at you or you might think they're making fun of you, they're really not. It's just, it might be funny, so laugh with that person and you'll feel better. But again, once I stopped caring about my mistakes and stopped caring about being so perfect, I got over that fear almost immediately when talking to people, because it just, I mean, it takes so much pressure off when you just don't care if you mess up or not. And you can just say whatever you want then, whether you say it completely right or completely wrong. And it's such a freeing feeling. So get used to just talking whether or not you think you're right or not. And also, if you don't know a word in Spanish, just say it in English and then get the translation, or maybe the other person will know that English word and you can keep the conversation rolling. The second tip I can really give you is that it's only bad the first couple minutes that you're talking. And I'm sure that if you've had a conversation longer than a few minutes in Spanish with a native speaker, you've realized this, that it's really nerve-wracking at first, but then you get over it. I remember when I used to play soccer, and I used to play growing up in all of these academies and schools and whatnot. I would always be really nervous the first few minutes of a game, but after that I'd settled in, I got a few touches on the ball, and I felt so much more confident afterwards. And it was only that initial fear and fight or flight response that got me nervous. But after you start talking a bit in Spanish, kind of like in soccer, I started to kick the ball around a bit, I felt better and I had no more nerves. Same thing will happen to you with Spanish conversations, I guarantee it. Maybe you can use exercises like, hey, count to 3 and just talk in your head whether or not you're gonna say it right or not, because a lot of times it is true where if you catch yourself just overthinking and overthinking and overthinking about what you're gonna say, it makes it harder and harder the more you put off talking than if you were to just spit it out from the get-go. So I'm gonna give you an exercise to do. This is kind of like a 5-step exercise, I would say. So number 1, plan out your conversations before you have them. It makes you so much more confident going into it. If you're in Spain and you're going up to order a coffee or some churros or whatever, plan out how to say exactly what you want to say the best way possible, and plan out what that person is likely to say to you. If you know that you're going to be with a group of friends later, Spanish speaking, or you're going to have a phone call with someone that you like, that you're talking in Spanish with, plan out what you're going to say, plan out the stories you want to tell, plan out how to talk about your day or ask them about your day, whatever you think you're going to talk about, plan out that conversation. Don't just go into it blind. I always would plan out conversations before going up, and it made your Spanish seem better than it might have been, because the native speaker's looking at you like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. It's like, yeah, I do, but only for what we're talking about right now. That'll kind of help break the ice. It'll help you feel better because you already know what you're going to say going into it. Second tip is have conversations with yourself out loud. Kind of like what I'm doing. Do it in front of a camera, do it in front of a mirror. You'll pick up on what you look like talking, and it kind of gives you the illusion of talking to someone, and it helps you get to where you can speak out loud a little bit more comfortably. Because if all your practice is in your head and never out loud, you're gonna struggle a lot. So you have to be speaking out loud. I used to talk to myself in the shower, while I was on walks with my dog, while I was driving. So get used to talking to yourself. You know, might seem a bit crazy, but I promise that'll help a ton. The third thing is have a conversation if you need to with AI first. Talk to a robot. You know, there's so many apps now where you can have a fake conversation with these AI platforms like ChatGPT and a lot of other apps that are specific to Spanish on the App Store. So go check those out. Before I get into my second exercises that I recommend, I do want to invite you to my free training. If you see yourself accelerating your Spanish learning, you want to know my 3 strategies on what I focused on specifically that allowed me to become fluent within a matter of months. So basically how you can become fluent within a year and be able to form real conversations so that when you start to get over this fear of talking, you can actually form real conversations and speak to native speakers with confidence. Click on the link in the description below. You can sign up for this free training right now. And if you're interested in my full paid Spanish program where I teach you everything you need to know within a matter of months to be able to form conversations, every verb tense, all the grammar rules in an easy to understand way, you'll learn more about that at the end of that free training. And by signing up, you get a huge discount off of the program and a couple of bonuses. That's just if you're interested in it though. Otherwise, still sign up for that free training. A lot of great info there. All right, so back to the couple of exercises. Sorry for that plug-in. The fourth step is now we've gotten over planning conversations. We've had conversations with ourselves. We've had conversations with robots. Now let's get on apps maybe like Tandem or HelloTalk, or pay someone to talk to you on italki. This is where we start talking to real people over the internet maybe. If you're shy about doing it in person, start with people online. This is what I did. I was really shy in person. I was pretty introverted. So what's the logical thing for me to do? Look online for people, and I would either pay people to talk to me for an hour or so, or I would get on Tandem and HelloTalk and I'd build relationships with people. And I have a lot of good relationships that have been built on apps like that. So definitely get on those language exchange apps, start talking to people online, and you'll be good to go. Now the fifth step is pretty easy. Find people in person to talk to now that you've gotten a lot more confidence, you've gotten practice and experience talking out loud and with people, real people now, not AI. You need to look for people, and you'll be surprised that it is a lot easier to find native speakers if you don't know any once you start making a conscious effort, or maybe subconscious effort, to start looking for them. You might have coworkers or friends of friends that know Spanish that you can start texting, you can start talking to in Spanish. You can look up groups like Facebook groups and language meets. You might have communities around where you live where there's a lot of like Spanish restaurants or Latin restaurants, or just a big community of Spanish speakers in that area. I know where I live specifically, there's a lot of places like that. So maybe you can go check those out. Or maybe you start to say, hey, this is the perfect opportunity to go travel now. Maybe I traveled to Spain like I've always wanted to, or even Miami or Colombia or Argentina, wherever you want to go. This is the perfect opportunity to try out your Spanish now that you've practiced having conversations. I never recommend going to a Spanish-speaking country unless you've done those other steps first. Get used to talking. That way when you get there, you get the most out of it because you're not relying on English anymore. You know how to plan out conversations, and you've had these experiences already talking to people. Really hope you enjoyed this video. Again, this hits close to home for me because it's something that I struggle with and I had to get over, so I feel like these tips will definitely help you out because I know that they helped me out. Be sure to click on the link in the description for that free training on how to become fluent in Spanish within a year. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Comment on any doubts and Spanish questions you have. I'll make some videos on it in the future. See you in the next one. Ciao.